Hello everybody and welcome to another video in which I'm going to be talking about the books that I read in the month of June. Now, in the month of June I was away for most of the months. I was away on holiday, so I was in the Balkans. I did get some reading done, but it was mainly audiobook reading. So first up, let's talk about a book that I'm not going to waste too much time on. So that is going to be Harry Potter book number 3, The Prisoner of Azkaban. So first of all, let me clarify, I do not support J.K. Rowling's views at all. I've basically been revisiting it because it's an easy audiobook for me to get through on the commute without having to spend too much of my focusing power on understanding the story, because I know these stories by heart. And then I've been watching some reaction videos of people to the Harry Potter franchise, and because I've never really read through my illustrated copies of these books, I thought like, okay, I'll just listen to it on my commute and then I can kind of look at the pictures when I get back home. However, the experience isn't what it used to be anymore, because it's definitely heavily tainted by J.K. Rowling and her views, and knowing that, you know, she has these views that seem totally opposite to what her stories are trying to tell teachers, readers, or trying to teach readers. But so yeah, I finished my reread of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. And then my main, like most of my time prior to going on holiday, was spent in reading The Wall of Storms by Ken Liu. So this is the second book in the Dandelion Dynasty series. The Dandelion Dynasty series is an epic fantasy series consisting of 4 books, which tackles a part of the history of China in a fantasized way. It is to some extent also a little bit of sci-fantasy. There are some inventions there that I feel definitely border on sci-fi a little bit more. And we're basically following the rise, and I guess maybe the fall, of a certain dynasty within this entire series. So first one I wasn't like fully sold on. I enjoyed it, but I also felt like that pacing was so fast-paced, or like it didn't feel fast-paced, but so much was happening. And with this one, I gotta say, my enjoyment soared. I really enjoyed this one a whole lot. We are definitely slowing down the pacing a little bit more and focusing in on the characters a lot more as a consequence. And one of the things that I really love about this series as well is that it very much is able to keep me on my toes. I can never really fully predict this. When I think that the story is going one direction, it throws a curveball along my path and completely veers the story off into another direction. And so it's unpredictable for me in that regards. And so I've come to love some of these characters. I've already lost some characters that I really love as well. And so I'm very much eager to pick the next one up in the month of July, hopefully still, and continue on with this ride. Then I left on holiday, and I was able to finish one physical read while on holiday, and that is The Incandescent by Emily Tesh. I've seen this described as Harry Potter, but from the perspective of the teachers trying to keep the kids out of danger. And that is to some extent a fair explanation, or a fair sort of like description for what this book is trying to do. We are following this protagonist who is a teacher at this magical academy for quite a while already, and this is very much sort of like an elite British boarding school, and so there's also some criticism in here about the access to education and the cost of education, especially when it comes to the cost of a really prestigious education like the one that this school is offering. Now, this school has been protected by centuries worth of spell work from people who came before, and she is like sort of the warden who's trying to maintain all that spell work, keeping the demons out, because demons in this world are kind of like, you think it and it happens. So if you start to personify objects around you, then that attracts demons and the object can become possessed. Now, there are smaller demons, but they can grow into really hasslesome demons, and so one of her sort of like works is to try and prevent as many demons from being attracted to the school as possible. However, there are so many magical people in that school, and there's so much magical activity happening alongside with hormonal teenage activity happening, that it is definitely a breeding ground for demons. And so that's where the sort of like stakes will come in later within this book. I did really enjoy this one. This one also does have a sapphic element to it. Our protagonist is a bi-protagonist, and there is definitely some will they won't they tension between her and a sort of like security woman who she seems to have a sort of like dislike for, but it's a dislike that can potentially turn into something else. But so yeah, I did really enjoy this one. I do feel like I loved Emily Tesh's other work a lot more, but it definitely was a fun read, a nice read. I enjoyed it. I like flew through it as well. It's just like not a new favorite. And then the rest of the month was basically just spent re-listening to Murderbot by Martha Wells. So we had access to the first 4 Dutch audiobooks along our road, because like the final Dutch audiobook came out like literally the final day or so that we were driving. So we re-listened to those. Murderbot is a series in which we're following a sec unit, which is basically a sort of like robot made out of organic parts who is tasked with securing the humans on their missions. They're basically sold by this entity called the corporation, and the RSEC unit basically has hacked its own government module, so the module that's controlling its behavior, and is now basically a free agent. However, to avoid detection, he's basically going about life as he would if he were still a sec unit, so he's still accepting assignments and pretending to be pretending to not have free will. However, this way he gets to live the life that he really loves, because in his many spare hours he's basically just consuming media wherever possible. However, on his latest missions things don't go all to plan, and so he has to kind of do some actual protection duty during his latest mission. But so yeah, I really enjoy Murderbot. I've really been enjoying the adaptation as well. I've now since then also watched the final episode for season 1. There are some changes of course between the book and the series, but I do overall kind of enjoy them. They can kind of stand side by side. But yes, I really enjoyed the series a whole lot, and I'm very much looking forward to diving back into book 5, and I think from book 5 onwards it'll all be new for me. But so yeah, I should take advantage of the fact that it's kind of fresh and new in my mind again at this point in time to continue on sooner rather than later. But so yeah, that is what I read in the month of June, so it wasn't like a massive amount of books that I got through in the month of June, but considering the fact that I was on holiday for 3 out of the 4 weeks of the month, and that typically on holiday I don't get a ton of reading done unless it's like my February relaxing at the beach type of holiday, this was very much an active city trips and nature walks type of holiday, in which there really wasn't all that much time in which I really got to sit down with a book. So I think I did pretty decently after all, and I did read some really good books throughout this month, so that is always the priority and the most important thing to take away from a month, is whether you enjoyed the things that you were reading, and I definitely did. But so yeah, with that was my reading month for the month of June. I hope you guys have also been reading some good stuff in the month of June. If you let me know if there's anything there that you want to talk to me about or that you think I will enjoy as well, and I'll be happy to chat about it with you in the comment section below. But so yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and see you guys for the next one. Bye!